are live. Welcome back to It's Not a Sport, Season 2, Episode 18. This episode is coming out a little bit later than usual because I wanted to really take my time and collect all the thoughts with this year's E3 and what I thought about it. Each game. We'll be going over that later, so that's the main topic for this week's show. But so we can jump right into that, let's just get straight into esports, starting with League of Legends. Quick news about Riot Games. I have problems with them and their kind of business model and philosophy that they've been going down over the last couple of years. But Teamfight Tactics, which is basically a auto chess clone, which if you didn't know, auto chess was a mod for Dota 2, and it was originally on Dota 2, but then I believe Valve didn't want that because, you know, they want to make their own and they want to make money, so they had some sort of problem. So now Teamfight Tactics, or auto chess, is its own thing, and Valve has their own auto chess, and then Riot Games just made their own. Point being, it should launch next patch, which should be relatively soon. So if you want to try out an auto chess clone and keep supporting Riot Games for some reason, you can go play that. But let's get right into esports. Another thing is that they've also, while I'm on the topic, they have this thing called ProView now, which you pay money for the esports and you can watch your favorite players play the game, essentially. So I pay like whatever amount it is and I can watch double if screen during the games. That's another kind of cash grab thing that I feel from Riot, and again, just another thing I have with their philosophy. But if you want to also do that and look at pros when they play their games, you can pay for that as well. I don't know about comms. If it's comms, I think it'll be worth it, but otherwise you can also do that. It's very small things. Maybe I'll talk about that at a later date. So, into esports, TSM is in first place for the LCS. They're also tied with Cloud9, Counter Logic Gaming, Team Liquid, Golden Guardians, and Optic Gaming. So everyone's tied for first, that being 4 wins and 2 losses. 7th is Clutch Gaming, and tied for last is Echo Fox, FlyQuest, and 100 Trash. Moving on to LEC, which is Europe. Fnatic and G2 are tied for first with 4-0. SK Gaming, Origins, Rogue, surprisingly, Misfits, Scalic, Splice are all tied for third, being 2-2. Excel and Team Vitality are last place, being 0-4. In the LCK, Sandbox, Afrika Freaks, Kingzone, and Griffin are all tied for first, being 3-1. Genji, Damewon, and KT are tied for fifth, being 2-2. Hanghua Life Esports, SKT, are tied for 8th, being 1-3. And Jin Air Green Wings are 0-4. In China, Fun Plus Phoenix are first place, being 5-0. Then Rose Never Give Up and Sunny are tied for second, being 4-. How is that possible? This is why China is such a weird region. Sunny is 4-1, and Rose Never Give Up are 4-0, and they're both tied for a second. Edward Gaming, which are 3-1. And then LNG Esports and Top Esports, which are both 3-0, are tied for fourth. Victory 5, which is 2-2. LGD, which is 2-3. Invictus, which is 2-2. Bibbling Gaming, which is 2-2, are all tied for 7th. Oh My God, which is 1-2. JD Gaming, which is 1-3, are tied for 11th. And Dominus, which is 0-5, Team WE, which is 0-4, Vinci Gaming, which is 0-4, and Rogue Warriors, which is 0-3, are all tied for 13th place. In the Overwatch League, which I also have problems with because now they're making Overwatch 2, as we mentioned in the last episode. Vancouver is in first place. They are 4-0. Followed by New York, then Shanghai, then Los Angeles, then Seoul Dynasty, then Paris, then Hangzhou Spark, then San Francisco, then the playoff cutoff point is right there, and then Los Angeles Valiants, Houston Outlaws, London Spitfires, Guangzhou Chargers, Chengdu Hunters, Philadelphia, Dallas, Toronto, Florida Mayhem, Washington Justice, Atlanta, and then Boston is in last place. In terms of game releases, the big games will be, of course, at the time of me recording this, and the show will probably go live, which is June 18th. This Friday, we will have Judgment. We will have Samurai Showdown. We'll have The Sinking City, and probably the big one, which will be next week's, and will probably be big game. Oh, excuse me. The biggest game will be Super Mario Maker 2, which comes out on Switch on June 18th, and then we move into July with the first big major release being Final Fantasy 14 Shadowbringers launch, which, if you know from past shows, I am super excited for. So, with that all out of the way, let's get into E3, right? Overall thoughts. E3 was a disappointment to me, but that was to be expected. It's a disappointment because generally when E3 happens, it goes on, off year, on, off year. And this has been a off year because we're in the middle of a kind of the next generation. So we don't know when exactly we're going to make the leap from PS4 to PS5. So a lot of developers aren't developing games because there'll be no reason to develop a game for the PS4 when the PS5 is about to come out. So it's really stale in terms of releases or anything like that. But there were some highlights and it was really exciting. Also, E3 as a conference is in a very odd spot. It used to be a trade show because how the market used to work is that before you didn't buy games digitally. So people, they would go and they would, make their huge announcements, and it was private, so you can only get in if you know somebody or you're in the industry. So that was the only way to get into E3. And then there'd be a bunch of industry buy our Nintendo Joy-Con, slippers or stuff like that, trying to sell at E3. It was a trade show. Now it's not like that. Now it's more, it's open to the public. First off, so you can pay. I believe I paid $250 per ticket or per pass to attend, and that's still the price. And it's expensive as fuck to begin with. So that's the biggest problem. It's a trade show, so then people are so it's a mix. So it kind of lowered the quality where it's not private. There's no scoops anymore, just things like that. And then people who are showed up and try to sell their own little shitty products don't really matter anymore. So it's in a really weird spot. That goes to say that game companies have realized that they don't need a big press conference to get people's attention. They could just, like Nintendo does with the Direct. They just do a Direct, a 30-minute Direct, a 20-minute Direct, saying, hey, this is what's coming out, this is what it's about, and everyone will tune in to watch it no matter what. Nintendo hasn't done a big press conference or a big showcase at E3 for years. They just do Directs. Sony realized this, and Sony no longer didn't attend this year. And there's actually a headline saying that Microsoft said that E3 was not strong without Sony. It was weak, and this one was weak. It's kind of no one really gave a shit. So I think E3 is really dying out, probably. What's going to happen is that it'll probably just become a trade conference where people just pay a shit ton of money just to go play games early access, which is, in my opinion, it's cool to do once, like I did, but probably not multiple times. like or yearly. Uh, and a lot of companies will probably just end up, doing directs because it saves them money, or just state of plays like Sony and Microsoft do. Anyway, let's move on. I'm going to skip the best of E3 and come back to this because this list actually covers everything and it's very good from what memory. I'm also going to skip the games list because I want to go by each conference and then we're going to go back to that and cover it. So let's start, yes, here we go, with Nintendo Directs. So, Nintendo, I think, saved the conference. There are only 3 interesting things that I found about this, and actually maybe 5 or 6 games that piqued my interest. Most of those games aren't really future games. They come out this year. But Nintendo, I think, did a great job of, giving us something to look forward to. We have 2 new Smash characters. Luigi's Mansion was shown off. Animal Crossing got a release date, which was delayed right here until March 2020 or March 20 of 2020. And the reason behind that was actually cool. They said that they delayed the game because they didn't want the developers to be in a crunch, and that's a big problem in the industry right now. So they delayed it for the developers' health, and so they could not have to work super fucking hard. I appreciate that. Animal Crossing was huge. There's a whole bunch of news on it, specifically saying that it's multiplayer now, and it's all your world is in your Switch. If you lose your Switch, then you lose your world. I've never played Animal Crossing, but multiple counts on your Switch can you go into that world. You build your own island instead of it being randomly generated like the last game. So I think that there's a whole lot of stuff on it, and I probably want to go into a more in-depth view of a lot of these games. But right now, I'm just looking at overall all of E3. But there's a whole lot of stuff on Animal Crossing New Horizon, and it looks really good. The other was Smash DLC. So Dragon Quest is getting all 11 heroes in Super Smash Bros. Probably most likely will be the same character, kind of like Peach and Daisy are in Super Smash Bros. Where they're the same character, but and operate the same, but they're different. So it'll probably just be like that, where you just pick one of them and you can rotate in between all of them. The other one being that Banjo-Kazooie is also coming to Smash, which is really cool. So I mean, yeah, it was cool to see those get some Smash news after we just got Joker, and see what else they're adding, because Super Smash Bros. To me is one of the best esports games out there in terms of quality. They're not fucking things up. It's pretty balanced and pretty stable, and there's a lot of viable characters you can play. Same with Counter-Strike. How Counter-Strike doesn't change anything drastically, so it's a lot of viable stuff. But moving on, let's talk about Luigi's Mansion real fast. It is supposedly also co-op, where you can have something called Goo Luigi. It looks cool. It looks fine. I think I read a report where a lot of female gamers prefer Luigi over Mario, which was very interesting. So this game is looking to be Nintendo's probably going to push it as one of their hits, much like Odyssey and Zelda were. It comes out later this year, and it looks decent. I mean, I'm not really interested in it, but it looks decent. The other one being, and they ended it on this one. This was a huge surprise for me. I was not expecting this soon, and I was really excited to see it. It was definitely the highlight, probably the number one highlight of E3 for me, and that was the 82-second trailer, as it says right here, of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. So the trailer just showed off a really dark themed Zelda, and it was Link and Zelda going underneath Hyrule Castle to like face the corpse of Ganon. It's supposed to be darker than Majora's Mask, and it just looked really good. And they just kind of brought up to speed, after the events of Breath of the Wild. And Zelda's kind of a new person now. She cut her hair and all that after being trapped in the castle for 100 years. And Link looks a lot more geared out after, gearing up to face Calamity Ganon in Breath of the Wild. And why this was so exciting to me is because most people grew up with like Majora's Mask or Twilight Princess or Ocarina of Time. I didn't have that. My first Zelda game was Breath of the Wild. I played it back in like last year, in 2018. It's my most played game on the Switch, having like 100+ hours on it, and I fell in love with it. Just the design of it, the open world. I could go anywhere. I could climb anything. I could fight anything. The physics of the game, everything I thought I could do in real life, I could do in the game. And I've talked about it multiple times on the show. It is a fantastic game, and I highly recommend that if you buy a Switch, it is the first thing you play. No matter what other game you want to play, you play Breath of the Wild first. It won Game of the Year for a reason. It is fucking fantastic. And when I first saw this trailer, I thought it was just going to be DLC. I thought, oh, okay, cool. They're going to add some Breath of the Wild's DLC. But no, it's a full-fledged another sequel to Breath of the Zelda. Or Breath of the Wild. Nintendo generally doesn't do sequels to to the Legend of Zelda series, at least in my knowledge of the games. They're generally all standalone with the same theme. But this is different, actually. I'm really interested to see where they go from this. Because, like, the map in Breath of the Wild is fucking huge. How are they going to change the map, Other than the castle rising up now and Ganon's corpse. What new enemy types will there be? What new items will there be? What new dungeons will there be? Will you have to start over from scratch as Link? Or will you still have relatively strong gear? Will you lose the Master Sword or will you regain it? How is Zelda going into the series now? Usually, the thing is that you always have to rescue her, and then her with the Triforce, you guys at the Triforce defeat Ganon. But now she's free. She's with you on that adventure. She's with Link. So how is that gonna work? Are we going back to traditional dungeons? Or are we gonna stick with the whole puzzle Divine Beast thing again? What about the Divine Beast? There's so many questions that arise from Breath of the Wild and too, and I'm really interested to get more data on it. And I'm definitely when it comes out, announcement, more news on it, that's the first thing on my list. The first thing. But just seeing that it's in development, and generally Nintendo does not show things off unless they're kind of ready to talk about it. So them showing off, the trailer and telling us that it's in development tells me that they have an idea on where they want it to go and what they want Breath of the Wild 2 to be, or whatever it's going to be called. I'm just really excited for this game. Breath of the Wild was a fantastic game again. I've said it 1,000 times, and 2, it looks really good. Not only that, but I really love dark stories, dark twisted stories that really make the player feel like, oh, what the hell is going on? And I think that they've realized that the Legend of Zelda audience is no longer the little kids that the games used to be, but have now grown up into full-fledged 40, 20, 30-year-olds. And this brings back a lot of people's Zelda memories because they've grown up. I think that's why part of Breath of the Wild was so successful, because it was a game that it was a children's game, but it was made for adults. It felt like an adult game. It didn't feel like anything was watered down. It felt like it was an adult. My cousin had a hard time playing it. He's like 12, 13-ish. But me, as an average, adult gamer, had a blast playing it. So, that's really all I have to say for that. That was my highlight of E3, and I'm really just excited to see where it goes. The second one being that there are a lot of other small games. Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening remake comes out September 20, 2019. I forgot to announce that, but that's the other big thing. Uh, Besides a bunch of other small ports, like The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is being ported. The Resident Evil games obviously have already kind of been ported. So a bunch of other small things for the Switch. And the last about Nintendo, they have also shipped productions of Switches out of China because of the recent tariff laws that have been placed on China by our wonderful president. So that's another thing. So let's move on to Xbox, right? Xbox was probably the third highlight of the show. They had a lot of cool games, especially I'm surprised the only game that was missing for me was Ori and the Blind Forest 2, which, pardon me, I need it. Or it's called Ori and the Will of the Wisps, which they didn't show anything about, but that's supposed to release February 11, 2020. Ori and the Blind Forest is a fantastic platformer game, and I highly recommend you go play it if you haven't already. But it was a really good fucking game. There are some Dragon Ball games they acquired. Xbox has a lot of studios under its belt, but there are really three big things from the Xbox press conference that I initially want to talk about, and we'll talk about all of it when we go over the games later on, the things that I missed. First one being Gears 5. Gears 5 comes out later on this year. It will be on Steam and on Xbox for the Xbox Game Pass, which we'll talk about in a minute. I really like Gears of War. Gears of War 1, 2, and 3. 3 I played the most. Was, brutal, fantastic gore, and then really the first entry into that series. Moving on, later on, Gears Judgment came out, which is not made by Epic, and then we had Gears 4, which was a good precursor to whatever they're gonna make with Gears 5. I remember playing that back in the day, and now we're here with Gears 5, but there's not, we don't know what to expect, and this is probably, a big jump for the series, and I'm really interested in the story and what happens, and that girl being like the daughter of the Hive Queen. If I remember correctly, that was the bad guy's faction name. So I'm definitely gonna play Gears 5, and it was probably one of the big highlights of the show. It's one of the few franchises that I think Epic as a company hasn't fucked up. I think everything else that they fucked up, they fucked up because they are in full control of it, and they're making as much money. They want to make as much money as possible off of it. But I think with Gears, they have to work with Microsoft, and that makes things difficult. So moving on to my second game would be Halo. Halo Infinite looks interesting. I haven't followed the Halo series. The last Halo game I played was 4, I believe, and then it kind of died off. Halo's really been under the radar, but I think with Halo Infinite, which will launch with the Xbox Project Scarlet, which we'll talk about in a second, which is the next Xbox. It's an interesting series. I think what they didn't talk about, which was interesting, was the Halo Master Chief Collection. That wasn't talked about at all. I guess because it's technically already released for Xbox, but it's coming to PC. Same with Halo Infinite, I believe, will also be with PC. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they do with the Halo series, because even though it's not Bungie anymore, 343 Studios has done the series justice, in my opinion. They haven't completely butchered it or ruined it at all. They've done it justice. The last big highlight, which was probably everyone's biggest highlight, was Cyberpunk 2077. So there was a closed door screening that got a lot more news, and I'm going to talk about that with memory. But CD Projekt Red reached out to a kind of famous actor right now because of Fortnite and John Wick, and Keanu Reeves is in the game. So that was everyone's, big, like, what the fuck, Keanu Reeves in Cyberpunk was unexpected. It was huge. We'll talk about all this, or what I think about all that later on. But it was actually kind of cool to see him there. I think everyone's super excited for that, but I'm honestly a little skeptical about it because I don't want Cyberpunk Keanu Reeves being there like 24/7, and that's the game. So the game used to be, on the gameplay release, it's like it was just a generic like Grand Theft Auto, work your way up through crime. It used to be you and your Mexican friend. I forget the character's name. Fuck. It was you and your other friend, and you were working your way up through a crime, and it was like a broker thing. But in this trailer that they showed, your friend was laying there dying, and it looks like he dies. They just kind of killed him off in the curve for Keanu Reeves. And now the game story revolves around this chip, and this chip is supposedly the key to immortality. And you have it, and they show it off in the trailer. And Keanu Reeves' digital mind is like in there, and he's like, "Come on, dude, we gotta go fuck some shit up and find my girlfriend," or something like that, who is now lost in the entire like digitweb or something like that. I'm happy. I don't know. Like, I don't know the full specs of the story, but I'm happy they changed it from just rise through crime, because now I was already interested in kind of the cyberpunk. What's the movie called? Blade Runner feel of the game, but now I'm really interested into seeing it. And this CD Projekt Red did a great job with The Witchers, and if they could bring that level of effort to Cyberpunk 2077, I think it'll be fantastic. It's being released April 16th of 2020, so that's around so next year. Hopefully we get more news on it soon. It's probably my third most anticipated game, or maybe third most anticipated game I'm looking forward to. Let's move on. Alright, so we covered Halo, we covered Gears, we covered Cyberpunk. Those were the big things for me from the Xbox press conference, or Microsoft press conference. The other kind of small bits news is the Elden Ring got a trailer, which, if you don't know, there's been rumors that George R.R. Martin, the writer and creator of Game of Thrones, has been working with From Software, the creators of the Soul series and Sekiro, to make a kind of Dark Souls open world kind of medieval game, and that's what the Elder Rings looks like. So that's definitely interesting, especially with the bomb hit that Sekiro has been this year. Definitely placing probably, if I was gonna rate this year, it would probably be Resident Evil 2, Sekiro, Devil May Cry, and maybe like Kingdom Hearts in terms of releases this year. So seeing that is really good. The other one being Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker saga, which would be all 9 movies. So I guess it's a big thing for the Lego Star Wars fans, which is the games that I actually grew up on. And all 9 movies will basically be a more complete saga, so that's kind of cool to see. I definitely wouldn't mind playing that. There's some other small games which we'll go over later, but let's get into Project Scarlet. So at the end of the press conference, Xbox released a trailer. Basically, it was nothing, honestly. It was fucking nothing. But basically, it just said, we are working on the next Xbox, and it's called Project Scarlet. That's all it was. It showed off a little specs, like it will reach 120 frames, possibly, which is already possible for PC. Honestly, dude, if you're on a console, just go buy a PC. I'm telling you that right now. It'll be the best investment you ever make if you want it for your gaming career. Just buy a PlayStation 4 and a PC, because Microsoft's already in trouble, so they're porting all their games onto PC, which they haven't done before. The second one being, the Xbox Game Pass, right? This was the other highlight. So if you don't know, the Xbox Game Pass is a pass that you can buy for $10 a month to play a whole bunch of Xbox games. It's a good deal, I think. But it's gonna hurt a lot of developers rather than buying the games. They have been shoving this down our throat, and they're going to continue to shove this down our throat for a really long time now, because both Xbox and Sony think this is the future. Subscription-based services, which we talked about with Stadia, which we'll talk about later, and, you know, Ubisoft have their own, which are also Stadia, which I don't know how the fuck works, but these services, they're going to shove down your throat, because this will be the future. Everything's going to be like Netflix eventually. I don't know. It's maybe good long term, bad short term, or good short term, bad long term, I think is what it's going to be. Because a lot of developers would end up losing money. The music industry went through it with like a weird like crash, where now a lot of people just they don't make albums like they used to earn money. They make albums to go on tour to earn money. So something like that will definitely happen in the gaming industry if they continue to push this. This section also has what isn't at E3. A Fable game wasn't there, and Dragon Age 4, which I know is in development, I think, because recently, what's it called? Fucking BioWare abandoned Anthem to work on that game, so that wasn't there. So we'll see. Maybe in the next couple years. Again, this was a stale year. Moving on to Bethesda. Jesus fucking Christ. Bethesda was sleep. Honestly, you could skip it. There was nothing new. They actually had something that made me want to fucking puke. The only thing cool that they showed was Doom Eternal. And that's it. That's the only reason you would look forward to Bethesda games is Doom Eternal. So the Elder Scrolls 6 and Starfield weren't there. They like teased that last year because they were really feeling themselves, but this year with the drastic thing of Tokyo, of Fallout 76, they couldn't do anything, and they gave us kind of an apology, but not really. And I do think we like a lot of people do need a hardcore apology. Like he should have just straight up said it. We are sorry for this game and what we did, but you know they're not going to do that because of marketing and blah blah blah. Moving on, Fallout 76, right? So they had a trailer for human NPCs, which weren't in the game. What really made me puke is that they added a battle royale mode called like Winter something in Fallout 76. That was fucking disgusting, and it made me want to puke. The fact that they fucking did that was horrendous. But, you know, you gotta make money and you gotta do what you gotta do. Moving on from Fallout 76, the Elder Scrolls Blade, which is basically Skyrim for mobile, had like some sort of events and updates on the Switch, or it's on the Switch now too, which I don't know why it's on the Switch. Just buy Skyrim because that's also on the Switch. But if you are poor and you want a free version of fucking Skyrim, then you can play the Elder Scrolls Blade. Moving on, Ghostwire Tokyo. This was a game that had like the Thanos snap. They are made by the same people who made that horror game that Bethesda produces. That's slipping my mind right now. I know people. It looked really interesting, actually. Again, I've talked about it multiple times over the last couple months. Japanese-made games are really kind of always interesting to me. They make the games as an art form, and they don't care about super greedy things. They just make it for to have a fun game and a fun experience, and not be super fucking greedy like a lot of American companies do. Another highlight of that show is the fucking, Japanese chick coming out and doing the whole, get up spiel. A lot of people love that. I just thought I'd mention that because it's kind of cute. Me and my friends were joking about it. She has personality. Most people don't. So good on her. Doom Eternal, right? Looked really good. I really like Doom Eternal. It looks like a really good new addition to Doom 2016, I believe. So that coming out, and I believe it will also be on the Switch. Looks really good. And then Wolfenstein Youngblood, which will also be on the Switch. Also looked really good. So those two games are probably the highlight of Bethesda, because anything actually Bethesda made now are really somewhat The Elder Scrolls Online, they showed off the expansion that just dropped. Rage 2, some DLC for that. Again, no Elder Scrolls 6 and no Starfield. Probably my bet. They have to really double down, make sure they aren't using the same engine, probably build a brand new engine so people don't fucking flame them for that, and really double down and hope it's not a 76, because if they ruin those games, it's over. We're gonna quickly go through the PC gaming show, mostly because there's nothing here. It seems like they showed off some Borderlands 3 stuff. I know the only big thing for me was Terraria is getting its last update later next year, so that's really it. So just skip that. My friends actually watched that. He said it was boring. That's usually just like small indie stuff too, so there's never a huge lot of things there. Square Enix, right? Square Enix is one of my favorite companies right now. They had a lot of stuff, a lot of JRPG stuff, and like 3 kind of big highlights, or 4 really. A lot of people are mad because it's another Final Fantasy, but they don't understand. But a lot of people don't understand how big of a franchise Final Fantasy is and how much money that brings in. So, before I get into anything, I wanted to say this. As I've said before, I'm really hyped for the new expansion for Final Fantasy 14. My guild member of mine said something really interesting. He said he loves Square Enix as a developer and hates them as a publisher, which has really landed hard with me, because that's 100% true. If you look at them developing games, they develop really good content, but when it comes to publishing them, they take for fucking ever. So I wanted to get that out of the way. Let's move on. First thing they showed off, Final Fantasy VII Remake. It looked fantastic. If you haven't seen the gameplay trailers, I recommend you go and you play them and watch them right now, because the way that they've really brought the Final Fantasy 15 engine and implemented it with this game, and just the character design of Cloud, Barret, Aerith, and even Tifa, right? Finally getting to see her, and she looks super Japanese, by the way, which is very different to me, because a lot of people, when Japanese make their characters, they generally base them more on white people say that generally. But she actually looked really Japanese, which was really surprising me, because generally they don't go that route. And then you have to remember a lot of these characters were pixels. You know, they were polygons when they came out. And now they're full-fledged, 3D models. So opening and seeing Final Fantasy 7 was fantastic. It is that and Cyberpunk, I know, are leading the pre-orders. And I believe there wasn't a release date for it as well. I think it's sometime next year. Hopefully that's up in the list when we go back to it. But it was fantastic to see. I'm so excited. When I first heard about Final Fantasy 7 being remade, I knew it was a classic, so I went back and played the old one, and I fell in love with the old one. Even though it's like 20 years old, it still holds up, and it provides a lot more content than a lot of games that we get now do today. So just seeing that, and being able to play it, and then seeing that they're working on it, look really good. Now, here's the shady part, alright? The dude who's the director, which I am not recalling his name, is the director for this game, is notorious for taking his sweet ass time. He took his sweet ass time with Final Fantasy 15, Kingdom Hearts, and now this game. So he's notorious for taking his time. That's both good and bad. Good thing is that we generally get really good quality games. Bad times that by the time they release, everyone's kind of forgotten about it. Here's the second thing. All the gameplay that they've shown is in Midgard, which is probably the first 4 hours, 5 hours of the game, right? And the game's still split in two. They said that the game, there's enough content here for the game to be split in two Blu-ray discs, which leaves me that they're gonna really expand on Midgard. And the first half is going to be on Midgard. But once you leave Midgard in the game, it becomes very traditional Final Fantasy, where you're in an open world and you're going to town and you're, fighting random monsters and et cetera, jumping back and forth, exploring the world. You get an airship and you travel through the airship, et cetera, et cetera. And that's probably going to be the other half of the game. But all the gameplay that they shown was all in Midgard, and all from like maybe the first 4 hours of the game, which is really concerning because it leads like, what are they gonna do? It kind of seems to me that they know this is Final Fantasy VII is their biggest product in the Final Fantasy line, and it's Square Enix that they've ever made. They know that it's worth a shit ton of money. They know how popular it is. They know how near and dear it is to people's hearts. So they want to split it in two and really make you pay as much money as possible and milk you out of it for this game. Square Enix isn't really known for doing that, but it's definitely a possibility. Moving on, they've also been remaking a lot of Final Fantasies. They remade Final Fantasy, they're remastering Final Fantasy 8, which is another kind of low-key big Final Fantasy. I know they remastered Final Fantasy 12, which is regarded as one of the best Final Fantasies ever made, the Zodiac era. And I definitely need to play it. I know that a list, if you look at a list of Final Fantasy games and the best one, it's always like either 12 or 6, and then 7 is generally up there, and then like 15 is also kind of up there. So, remaking Final Fantasy 8 is definitely welcome, because I would love to replay all the Final Fantasy games, as no matter how old they are. I've played 6. I played 7. I played 13-2, which I didn't like. I played Lightning Returns, which I didn't like. And I played 15, which I did like. So it's good to see that. They also announced Kingdom Hearts 3 DLC, which will be in early June. It's called the Remind DLC. This is good. I hope they bring more life to Kingdom Hearts 3, because the story was really fucking dull, and I hope they kind of build more on Sora and that storyline and like the Keyblades and all that than fucking the Disney side of it, because that was really disappointing. But they're back with making deals with Disney with Marvel's Avenger, so there's no gameplay of this. It was just a CGI trailer. A lot of my friends are like Marvel fanboys, but for me, I'm not really. I really kind of prefer DC just because their comic books are better. Their movies are alright, but I'm not a big fanboy of it like a lot of people are. So I was really skeptical when I heard about this game. I didn't think they were going to show it off because they had nothing, and it's true, they didn't have anything. It was just a CGI trailer. People were really mad about the character design of a lot of these characters where they looked really weird, and I think that's justifiable just because they did look really weird, and it's hard to relate to these characters, especially when you've been looking at the actors for so long, you know? It looked really, really bland to me. It's supposed to be like Destiny, but it just looked really bad. Honestly, I wasn't looking forward to it. Even when my friend Tito saw it, he was just kind of like, I'm not really feeling it. So that kind of sums it up. Moving on, they're working on like Dragon Quests. Life is Strange 2. Was shown off a little bit, but there was nothing there. Final Fantasy 16, as it says here, way too early. Just Cause 4 DLC. I'm not too sure. Just Cause. Sony was not there, so we'll skip it. And we'll move on to Ubisoft. So as I said before, Ubisoft's big thing was Watch Dogs Legion, which was leaked. It looked alright, but I'm a victim of Watch Dogs 1, so I'm never doubling down on Watch Dogs games ever again. It was hard playing Watch Dogs 1. I think actually I never even completed it. I didn't even beat it. So it looked alright, but you know, I'm not a huge fan of that series. The other ones being that they showed off this new Ghost Recon game, which has Sean from The Walking Dead, which again, we'll talk about that kind of thing in a minute. He's in that. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia showed up. He's making a game or some shit. The dude from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which again, we'll talk about that in a minute. The usual Just Dance raid talk for The Division, Tom Clancy, The Division 2. Mobile shit. A no new Splinter Cell, which kind of sucked because it's talking about that in this article, and I would actually love to see a Splinter Cell. They didn't show off Skull and Bones, and they didn't show off Beyond Good and Evil 2, which were their big highlights from like last year, and they didn't show that off at all. They were really doubling down on this Watch Dogs, and I mean, it was funny seeing the grandma kill everyone, but yeah, it was just kind of and then some Rainbow Six stuff, because it's a, you know, really popular esports game. And then I think they showed off I didn't get it, but there's like a Kingsman reference I think in that game too. So yeah. Nintendo, we already talked about. Stadia was kind of there in the moment, but yeah, that kind of sums up everything in all the big ones. So I want to talk about Keanu Reeves and this type of media. We're starting to see the effects of Fortnite on the general public, where we see a lot of this product placement. There was Keanu Reeves, there's the dude from The Walking Dead, there's the dude from Sunny in Philadelphia, there's the Lego movie, there is the fucking Kingsman shit. All in our video games, and this is concerning to me. There's Terminator with Gears 5. Just so many of that in our video games. It's cool to see that, but it's really concerning to me. It's like, is that where this is headed? Where like now everything's more like crossover franchise things like Fortnite has done? I personally don't really want that. But if that's where things are headed, then okay. I mean, I just thought I would bring that to people's attention because it's concerning to me that we're getting this. Keanu Reeves in a video game, cool. But I don't want that 24/7. And there was a lot of it at this year's E3. A lot of it. I think that, like, you know, again, a lot of these games are doing this now to pull in as much money as possible. Even Death Stranding has it with fucking, what's his name? Who's also from The Walking Dead. Who's, in that video game that's released later this year. So seeing that is very scary. That, and then also we have a lot of product placement and like or not product placement, my bad, subscription services are being popped up. Google Stadia, Xbox Game Pass, you know, Ubisoft had it called like Uplay Plus. And that's, you know, super concerning to me because it was like $10 on top of the $10 that you have to pay for Google Stadia. That's $20 on top of the games that you have to buy for Google Stadia, because not all of them are going to be available to stream like on Netflix. So it's kind of fucking weird. The one thing that I've heard is that Google Stadia's internet was less lagging than like the Xbox Cloud or whatever that they're using, so that's good. But Xbox, you know, is also really pushing the clouding industry, and I've said it over the last couple of episodes, but that's where the game industry seems to be headed, towards like streaming cloud based gaming. Second thing being, I forgot to mention this, but EA also had their thing before E3 started. It was nothing new. It was just The Sims, FIFA, Madden, Battlefield maps, Apex new shit, and then the Star Wars game, which a lot of people, it looked like easy, it looked incomplete, it looked slow, it looked clunky to me. A lot of people were mad because the lightsaber would make burn marks and not, you know, cut off a nigga's arm. Apparently that was a choice by Lucasfilms. They didn't want people to, like, they didn't want December, I can't fucking say it, I'm so bad with English, this is why I don't talk. They didn't want arms to be cut off, which makes no sense because it's a lightsaber, but that was their choice, and a lot of people felt that that was just a huge turnoff. So unless they make that change, who knows. But that was it. Anyway, let's move on. Let's wrap up. So the highlights of E3, according to this article, was Keanu Reeves. I agree, it was fun seeing him there. The other people I could do without. If it was just him, I wouldn't be so concerned, but also just him, you know, doing it when he is in Fortnite and these other games, and his movie just came out, it's a little bit concerning. But it was fun to see him there, and I'm actually interested. I just hope he's not constantly in my ear, and it becomes really annoying when I play the game. Second is Luigi's 3 Mansion. Yeah, this is Nintendo's probably big one, minus Super Mario Maker and Pokemon later on this year. But it looked a lot of interesting. I never played Luigi's Mansion, but it's cool to see that it's finally coming out. Watch Dogs Legions, a fun basic Ubisoft game. I like the concept of you can play whoever and you kind of build a team of like whoever. I think the setting's bad. It doesn't make sense that it's in like pre-Brexit London or something and guns are legal there, because I don't think that would like completely get to shit. I'm also a little bit tired of like futuristic games. But it's okay. It looks interesting. Outer World, I'm not too sure about this one. I think it was like a space game. I have no opinion on it. I didn't really see it. Dying Light 2, fun parkour game. Yeah, they showed this off at last year's E3, but it's good to see it keep going. Doom Eternal, total Doom, looks awesome. Looking forward to just killing a bunch of demons with heavy metal. That's all I have to say for that. It was definitely probably one of the better games shown at Bethesda's. Yeah. Star Wars Fallen Jedi Order. I mean, I just told you what I thought about that. There's also no light and dark sides, which generally you could. But no, there's not. It also looked really overpowered. It just looked clunky and incomplete. It looks like they just have a whole lot of things to work out. Otherwise, a lot of people aren't buying it, and people will probably just like get a really bad taste, want to play a good Star Wars game, go play the Old Republic or Force Unleashed. FIFA 20 soccer. Halo Infinite looks good. Good to see Chief back at it again. I really hope it goes well for them. Blue Doors Gates 3, I don't know anything about that. Animal Crossing New Horizon looked really good. Another Nintendo highlight. Again, Nintendo dominated the E3 again, as they kind of generally do if it's not Sony. So, good to see that. Back with Nintendo Breath of the Wild 2. I talked about it earlier. I don't want to go into another rant, but I'm so fucking excited. If you even look on the stream, just look at New Zelda's design. She's joined the short hair club, and then Link also, they look like a couple. I don't know if they're a couple, but they look like they're about to fucking finally end what's been a problem that's been plaguing their lives for centuries now. Midnight Ghost Hunt, I don't know anything about that. Roller Championships, people are memeing this because it's basically Rocket League. There's a really mean Twitch thing. Oh yeah, by the way, this entire press conference Twitch chat was just because I had Twitch chat on just to get a feel of what people were feeling. They were not feeling it. They are sleeping on everything, and if it wasn't Skate 4 memes, they're sleeping on it. I remember something said finally a game for lesbians for this. They were mean. They were brutal. That was awful. Again, a lot of people were just not feeling this E3, but yeah, Roller Champions I wasn't feeling either. Just okay, skip. And Wolfenstein Cyber Pilot is I believe it's a VR fucking game. So that was it. Let's move on to the games, real quick. Breath of the Wild 2, looking forward to. Luigi Mansion 3, interested. Animal Crossing, interested. Pokemon, looking forward to. Link's Awakening, interested. Super Mario Maker comes out later this month. Definitely interested. Astral, not too. Chains got a new trailer, not too sure. Marvel Ultimate Alliance, The Black Order got a new trailer. Chance of Hyrule, The Legend of Zelda, Fire Emblem, not too sure what that is. Fire Emblem, Three Horses, Dragon Quest Builder, No More Heroes 3, announced for 2020, release date window. Mario and Sonic Olympic Games is getting another game for 2020, for Tokyo 2020. If that's where the Olympic Games is being held in 2020, that's pretty fucking good. Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6 will be ported to the Switch, so that's good. Microsoft, Halo Infinite, release window is coming with the next Xbox, Project Scarlet. Gears of War 5 releases later this day. Blair Witch, not too sure about. Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga will release on Xbox and PC later on. Good to see that. Bleeding Edge, not too sure. Battletoad, not too sure. Age of Empire Definitive Edition is coming to Age of Empire 2 Definitive Edition is coming to PC. I know there's also established a quiet studio for that. Wasteland 3, not too sure about. Microsoft Flight Simulator, PC first, then Xbox One later. Minecraft Dungeons is a Minecraft fucking weird game. They gotta do something with that IP. Especially, they gotta do something with it. Spirit, coming to Xbox 12 minutes, Xbox One and PC. Another Frozen game, Frozen 4 Lego Speed Championship expansion was shown off. Again, that's just another product placement crossover thing. Xbox, Crossfire X, and then Gears Pop, which is that Gears of War mobile game. Take-Two Interactive says 2K. They had The Outer Worlds and Borderlands 3, which comes out later this year. Borderlands 3, I've been playing a lot of Borderlands 2, because if you didn't know, Borderlands 2 got a free update. They got a free update at E3, and it's been fun playing it. Just been fun going back and grinding for levels again in Borderlands, so I'm excited for Borderlands 3. Sadly, it is on the Epic Games Store, so I will be sleeping on it for the time being. Electronic Arts and EA, Star Wars Jedi Order, PC, Xbox One, PS4, Apex Season 2, I believe launches July 2nd, with barely anything. Again, sorry, go play Fortnite. It's dying, but it's the only probably good Battle Royale game. Battlefield 5, Chapter 4, Sims 4, Island Living, FIFA, 20 FIFA Legacy Edition for the Switch, Madden for 20 for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. No one gives a shit about Madden or FIFA. CD Projekt Red has Cyberpunk and The Witcher's 3 Complete Edition. I'd be on the Switch. Konami, no one gives a shit about Konami because they lost Metal Gear. Bethesda, Deathloop, platform unknown. Looks trailer. Doom Eternal, The Elder Scrolls Blade, Fallout 76. Doom Eternal launches on all platforms, including Nintendo Switch. Elder Scrolls Blade got updates, is now on the Switch. Fallout 76 has a fucking Battle Royale game mode that's like out on all platforms. Ghostwire Tokyo got kind of a teaser, looks interesting. Wolfenstein Youngblood comes out later on this year, I believe, on all platforms. Wolfenstein Cyberpunk's a VR game, and Commander Keen is a fucking iOS game. Square Enix, Final Fantasy VII Remake coming on PS4. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, PS4, Nintendo Switch, and mobile. Final Fantasy VIII Remastered. Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers comes out July 2nd, and early access is a week from today. War of the Visions, Final Fantasy Brave Exodus, another like mobile game or some shit. Roman Saga, Scarlet Grace, Dragon Quest Builder, The Last Remnant Remastered, Trials of Mana. Basically anything that's not Final Fantasy is not really interesting. Oh yeah, Kingdom Hearts DLC. Ubisoft, Ghost Recon Breaking Point comes out for all platforms except the Switch. Division 2 gets a new raid. For Honor gets like new DLC. Watch Dogs Legion comes out on everything, including Stadia, and you could go see the trailer. Assassin's Creed Odyssey gameplay update, probably because of the Notre Dame. Or no, Odyssey's the newer one. Rolling Champions, that game we just talked about. Gods and Monsters on all platforms, including Stadia. Ubisoft's really doubled down on Stadia. Sega has some stuff. We're gonna skip. Namco Banda has like a Dragon Ball game. Gonna skip. And then other things were like the Elder Rings from Software, Dying Light, Way of the Woods, Dauntless is coming to Nintendo Switch. The Dark Crystal, Dead by Daylight is coming to Nintendo Switch. And then that's pretty much it. That sums up E3 and the show. So overall, it was disappointing. I think it hurts with Sony not being there. But it was cool. I mean, there's some cool, fun things. I think next year we'll really start to see things pick up, because probably the PlayStation 5 will release, and then a bunch of games will come out with that. I expect that Last of Us will be a PS5 launch. So a lot of cool things to look forward to. Anyway, let's wrap up. Thank you for listening to It's Not a Sport, Season 2, Episode 18. If you want to listen to all of our past shows, are all up on our YouTube. You can listen to us on Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, and Google Podcast. Follow us on our social media. It's Not a Sport to You is our Instagram. Please stay tuned to next week. We stream every week on twitch.tv/saltywaffles at usually Friday 7 p.m. Central Time. If I'm not streaming around then the show's probably been delayed or I'm skipping that week. Please come say hi, ask any questions you want. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful summer.